Alright guys, welcome back into another NBA DFS video. Let's get it kicked off with the point guards right away. I do think we can roll with James Harden if we want to. There's a lot of value that's going to be opened up on this slate, so it's really easy to do stars and scrubs. So if you wanted to go with Harden, I wouldn't blame you. But I think I'd rather go with Russell Westbrook at this price point. Going against the Clippers, I kind of like it. In 2 games against the Clippers, he's averaging 57 DK points per game. I just think that's way too cheap for a guy like Westbrook. He should at least be at 11K. It is a back-to-back, but that doesn't really bother me at all. So the next option, I think we can go with KEMBA Walker here. KEMBA Walker against the Washington Wizards has won for 47 and 53 DK points. So obviously has some really good matchup history, so I do like that. Definitely going to be making a lineup build with him and BEAL stacked together, maybe just game stacking that game, but I do like KEMBA Walker. Donovan Mitchell is going to be an option simply because all the point guards are ruled out. We know he had that big, nice run when those 3 guys were out, so that's going to be the same situation. He should be a lock to get 40 DK points, and we know he does that 60-point upside with those guys out. So Ish Smith's going to be another decent option. In his last 5 games, he's averaging 23 DK points, so really not a bad option. He does have that upside, and Detroit's playing better. They're a playoff team because of Ish Smith, and I think they know that, so I do think they're going to start giving him some more quality minutes here. So Justice Winslow is also going to be an option that I like. In 3 games against Cleveland, he's averaging 40 DK points per game. So obviously that's a really strong option. Anytime you can get a guy that's performing like that to get in the matchup, really not bad. Cleveland struggles against guards, so I do like that. If Goran Dragic is ruled in, though, I might not like him as much. We'll have to wait and see on the news on that. So Bradley Beal is another strong option. He only played 1 game against Charlotte so far, but as you can see there, he went for 67 DK points. Like I said, I really don't mind the option of stacking him and KEMBA together if you want to game stack that game. Not a horrible option. Beal's just been so safe and consistent. If you're making a cash build, you might just want to consider him. Luke Kennard is an option that I really do like. I said once Reggie Bullock got traded that Luke Kennard would be the guy that stepped up. I said that he was freed or whatever, the classic saying. But he really has been. He's been playing the minutes. He's finally been able to get a shot up and going. And, he's going to be a guy that rides or dies with his shot, but he's hitting it right now. And in that matchup, that's not a bad matchup. He can definitely go off and produce. I really like him on Yahoo, though, where he's only $12. So if you're playing on Yahoo, really not a bad option. So the Memphis Grizzlies value Avery Bradley and DeLon Wright. We'll focus on Bradley real quick. He hasn't went for, that's the 7 points there. That's the only time that he busted since he's been with the Grizzlies. So he is not a bad option. I don't think he has as much upside as DeLon Wright, but DeLon Wright is less safe. So if you're playing cash, Bradley. If you're playing GPPs, let's go with DeLon Wright. All right, the next option that I want to touch on is going to be Gary Harris. And this is kind of really just because of his last game. He went off. But you look at the last time he played the Golden State Warriors earlier this season, this is the best game of the year. He went for 42 DK points. So maybe he's finally found that form. He's definitely been starting to get the minutes, so maybe he can finally start producing consistently like he has done in years past. That's what we want from him. Gary Harris was kind of a staple in my cash lineups pretty much the last year and a half until this year, so it's kind of, I'm hoping he gets back to form. Paul George, definitely too cheap. He hasn't done he's done all right in this matchup, averaging 50 DK points per game in 3 games against the Clippers. I wish that was a little bit better, but at that price point, we can definitely just put him into our builds. Once again, I'll be stacking Westbrook and Paul George in a lot of my builds just because that seems like a lock of 110 DK points. And if you're telling me I'm locking in 110 DK points at that price point, I really don't mind it. Kenrich Williams here, not a horrible option, especially with Drew Holiday ruled out. I do think that he's going to get those minutes. And, if he's going to be getting 30 minutes, we've seen him go for over 40 DK points. I think he's just going to be a safe lock to hit that value. If he's going to be getting those 35 minutes, the usage might go up a little bit with Holiday out. Now, Alfred Payne should be a decent option as well. Danilo Gallinari is not going to be a horrible option. I was just kind of looking for someone to run it back with, and I wasn't that confident in Harrell. So if you want to run back Westbrook and Paul George, maybe Harrell's not a bad option for you. You can roll with that. Tim Hardaway Jr. is going to be an okay option as well, going against the Orlando Magic, who kind of struggle against shooting guards, small forward types. He did go off against them 1 game. He went for 45 DK points, but then they played it another time earlier on in the year. He only had like 18 DK points. So we know when all the point guards were out, Donovan Mitchell kind of switched over to the point guard role. Then Royce O'Neal saw a huge boost in minutes and usage. So I do expect that to happen again. He's priced low enough where if he only gets us like 16 DK points, it's not going to kill us. But I am projecting him to get over 20 DK points. Like I said, that's another kind of easier value play. We do have to wait and see what the news is. I'm recording this at like 8 p.m. in Wisconsin. So, I don't have the night before. So we don't have the news just yet. But we've got to wait and see kind of who's starting and what's going to happen. Frank Jackson's another option that I really do like. So Drew Holiday is going to be out for a while. So I'm assuming that Frank Jackson is going to get the start. And if he does, he should get at least, 28 minutes. I like him as an option, but I think you could roll with Alfred Payne as well. But Frank Jackson is just too cheap. Another value option is going to be Frank Kaminsky here. Now, Frank Kaminsky in each of his last 3 games, he's finally getting the minutes. He's finally getting over 20 minutes. He's been able to produce. He's a scorer. He's going to go out and produce. He's going to get that safe floor free. I do think, he could go for 18 DK points, but it's not a bad matchup. He should be able to go off in this matchup. All right, so Kevin Love here. His minutes are finally going up, and Kevin Love's just a beast. I mean, at this price point, if he's going to be 30 minutes, he's going to go for at least 40 DK points, so he's priced at under 8K. I think we can just lock him into our builds unless we hear some different news. Now, the Miami matchup isn't the best. If Whiteside was for some reason ruled out, then you just lock in Kevin Love because he's going to be able to tear up Bam and or Kelly Olynyk. AMIR Johnson's not a horrible option. I do think he's still going to get around that 20-minute mark. He's been able to produce in each of the last 2 games with that. He's not priced up enough where I don't think it's going to hurt you having him in your builds. It does seem like a safer value option. The only worry I have is that this game is against the Rockets. The Rockets kind of go smaller, so I do think someone like Mike Scott could actually get a little bit more extra run, and he's someone that could actually really go off. He could go off for 30 DK points if that is what happens. But if that does happen, then I also really like Clint Capella. So it's more of a game script, game stacking option here. Clint Capella, not a bad option if you're going that route. The center that I like the most is going to be Andre Drummond. Andre Drummond should be able to go off and dominate the Chicago Bulls like he did the first time they faced. The last game against the Chicago Bulls, he went for 67 fantasy points. He just went for 61 fantasy points. So I do think more of the same is going to continue. He should at least get 44 DK points, so he's giving him an 80% chance to at least hit value. He has the upside to go for 60 DK points. Not a horrible option. JOAKIM Noah, kind of a hit or miss option. You see that 2-game stretch in there at the top. That was kind of a back-to-back, so I think they kind of limited his minutes. So this is the front end of a back-to-back, so I do think he'll be able to get there. Even on limited minutes, all he needs is 20 minutes to hit value, and he could at least go for 30 DK points. Steven Adams is not a bad play as well. It's an easier matchup, and he's been more consistent as of recently, so I don't mind this. Especially if you're thinking about fading Russell Westbrook or Paul George, then I think you got to go with Steven Adams because if Paul George struggles, I got to assume that Steven Adams is going to be doing well, so not a horrible option. But that's what I got for you guys right now. I will be posting the lineup on the Patreon page tomorrow. I'm going to be trying to do some more NBA DFS videos. Going to be trying to do them more consistently. We'll be sending them out at night, the night before, and then I'll be able to adjust the news accordingly. I'll be tweeting out the player pool and kind of any adjustments that we need to make as the day goes on. Hope you guys enjoyed. Please give me a like and subscribe if you did.